Most people think raising your vibration feels like fireworks, like sudden bliss, like waking up one day and everything in your life just clicks. But real transformation? It's subtle, almost imperceptible. It creeps in not with a bang, but with a gentle pull. You don't always realize it when it's happening, because your nervous system is adjusting. Your mind is rewiring. Your body is detoxing its old emotional addictions. And while it might look like nothing on the surface, behind the scenes, everything is changing. Here are 5 hidden signs your vibration is rising, even if you don't realize it yet. There's a quiet moment on the path of transformation that few talk about. It doesn't come with fireworks or fanfare. It's not marked by some grand declaration of, "I finally healed," but comes in the form of discomfort, of restlessness, of things that once gave you comfort starting to feel off. You used to numb out with scrolling, diving into social media for hours, chasing that tiny dopamine hit with every swipe. You'd reach for sugar, a quick fix of emotional anesthesia, just to feel a flicker of joy. You'd lose yourself in mindless distractions, Netflix, gossip, online shopping, even toxic relationships, because in some twisted way, chaos felt familiar. But one day, without warning, those habits lose their flavor. You open the app, but it feels like static. You eat the sugar, and instead of relief, you feel jittery or low. You watch the show, and halfway through, there's this nagging emptiness that no plot twist can mask. What's happening here isn't just behavioral. It's biochemical. It's neurological. It's energetic. Your system is beginning to reject what is no longer in vibrational resonance with who you are becoming. Let's break it down. Most coping mechanisms we rely on, especially the addictive ones, operate by hijacking our brain's dopaminergic reward system. Dopamine isn't just the pleasure chemical. It's a motivator, a reinforcer. It wires your brain to repeat behaviors that provide quick satisfaction, especially in times of stress, uncertainty, or fear. But here's the catch. The more you rely on artificial dopamine spikes, the more desensitized your brain becomes to natural, sustainable sources of joy, like connection, purpose, stillness. Your nervous system becomes addicted to the loop. Discomfort, dopamine hit, temporary relief, crash, repeat. But when your vibration begins to rise, when you start embodying higher states like awareness, presence, self-worth, this cycle starts to collapse. But because your internal frequency begins to outgrow the frequency of those external substances or behaviors. Your body, once accustomed to numbing, is now craving alignment. Your cells, quite literally, are communicating in new ways. Your brain starts forming new neural pathways that prioritize coherence over chaos. And suddenly, that Instagram scroll session doesn't soothe, it overstimulates. That third coffee doesn't energize, it exhausts. That late night catch-up with a toxic ex doesn't excite, it drains. Your energy field is becoming more refined, more selective. And this is not about willpower. It's not about trying to force yourself to stop. It's a natural byproduct of your internal evolution. Here's the twist most people miss. When your old coping mechanisms stop working, it can feel like you're spiraling. You're more raw, more sensitive, more exposed. Because without those familiar distractions, you're suddenly face to face with the emotions they were suppressing all along. That restlessness you feel? It's the grief of letting go of the emotional crutches you used to lean on. But what if you saw that discomfort not as a problem, but as evidence that you're healing? Because healing isn't always calm and graceful. Sometimes, it looks like sitting on the couch, phone in hand, realizing you have nothing left to numb with, and choosing to stay present anyway. That's the moment of transcendence. Imagine someone who always reached for sugar during stress. They eat sweets after arguments. They snack while working late. They treat emotional exhaustion with chocolate. Now, as their vibration rises through inner work, meditation, journaling, emotional release, they start noticing something strange. The sugar now makes their body feel inflamed. Their sleep becomes erratic. Their mood crashes harder. But because their baseline nervous system state is shifting from survival to safety. When the body is no longer operating from a constant state of stress, hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, it begins to self-regulate. It becomes more intelligent and less tolerant of substances that throw it out of balance. This is the body's way of saying, I'm no longer available for self-abandonment. Let's take it one step further, into the quantum. Every behavior emits a frequency. Distraction vibrates low. Presence vibrates high. Addiction contracts. Expansion liberates. As your inner frequency ascends, your energetic field becomes more coherent, more harmonious, and more repelled by chaos. This is why noise bothers you more. Why gossip sounds like static. Why you feel physically sick after indulging in something you've outgrown. You're not broken. You're just attuning to a higher signal. It's like your soul is updating its software, and the old apps no longer function on the new operating system. The danger here is misinterpretation. People think, nothing feels satisfying anymore. Maybe I'm depressed. Maybe I'm lost. But what if this is actually the sacred void between versions? You're no longer sedated by the old, but you haven't fully anchored into the new. This is the threshold. And the invitation is not to force fulfillment, but to sit with the silence long enough for a new form of nourishment to emerge. Instead of scrolling, walk in nature. Instead of sugar, drink warm herbal tea and tune into your body. Instead of reaching for external validation, place your hand on your heart and breathe. These practices might feel underwhelming at first, but over time, they rewire your entire system to trust peace over chaos. And that's the real high. Now let's talk about the second hidden sign. You're more emotionally triggered, but you don't react the same. Sounds contradictory, right? People often assume that spiritual growth means becoming unbothered, floating in a permanent state of zen, never getting angry, never feeling anxious, never being triggered. But that's a fantasy. In truth, the more your vibration rises, the more you become aware of the emotional clutter you've been carrying, sometimes for years, even decades. That awareness doesn't dull your emotions. It sharpens them. But here's what changes. You start observing instead of absorbing. You pause instead of projecting. You feel without collapsing. That's not weakness. That's power. Let's revisit the body. Your autonomic nervous system has two main states: sympathetic, fight/flight, and parasympathetic, rest/digest. When you've lived most of your life in survival mode, you've trained your body to brace against the world, to see potential threats everywhere, to react instinctively, not intentionally. Triggers are not just mental, they're somatic memory patterns. They're stored in the fascia, the muscles, the breath. And when your vibration begins to rise, your parasympathetic system starts to reawaken. You begin feeling safe enough to process what you once suppressed. This is why, paradoxically, people often feel more emotionally volatile during healing. It's not regression, it's release. You're detoxing stored trauma, buried beliefs, emotional imprints. And just like a physical detox, it can feel worse before it feels better. Here's where the shift becomes visible. You still get triggered, but you respond differently. Maybe someone says something hurtful. You might have lashed out or spiraled into self-doubt. Niu feels the sting, but pauses, takes a breath, checks in with the body, names the emotion instead of being consumed by it. That pause, that sacred pause, is the space where your power lives. It's the space between stimulus and response where choice exists. And choice is where your freedom begins. There's a moment in every healing journey where you recognize an emotional pattern as it's happening and choose differently. It might be subtle. You feel the anger rise, but instead of snapping, you journal. You feel the fear creep in, but instead of freezing, you move your body. You feel the urge to run, but instead, you stay present. These micro moments are massive upgrades, because every time you choose response over reaction, you're literally rewiring your brain. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new synaptic connections based on repeated behaviors. The more you practice presence in the face of triggers, the more you install a new default operating system. Over time, that system becomes self-sustaining. And what once sent you spiraling now barely rattles you. That's not spiritual bypass. That's emotional mastery. If you're experiencing heightened emotional sensitivity, don't run from it. Instead, ground it. Here are a few somatic tools that help. Ox breathing. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Calms the vagus nerve and resets the nervous system. Name the sensation. I feel tightness in my chest is far more regulating than I'm anxious. Cold water on wrists or neck activates the parasympathetic state. Put your bare feet on the earth. Grounding reduces cortisol and reconnects you to the natural frequency of the planet. These tools aren't just fluffy rituals. They're biological interventions that support your rising vibration. To feel is not to fail. To be triggered is not to regress. To observe your own emotional landscape with compassion, instead of judgment, is a mark of evolution, not weakness. Your ability to stay conscious during a trigger is proof that your nervous system is expanding its window of tolerance. You're not just rising in vibration, you're learning to hold more light without burning out. And that's when things begin to shift. People feel your energy without you saying a word. Situations that once owned you lose their power. And life begins to respond to the you that's no longer reactive, but receptive. There was a time when you might have found it effortless to navigate social situations with a polite smile, agreeing to things that didn't resonate with you, all in the name of maintaining harmony. Perhaps you often prioritized others' comfort over your own truth, leading to an internal dissonance that became your norm. But now, something has shifted. The facade you've meticulously maintained is beginning to crumble. Engaging in superficial conversations feels burdensome. The mere thought of small talk might make you uneasy. There's an emerging, undeniable urge to express your genuine thoughts and emotions, even if they come out imperfectly. This transformation isn't about seeking conflict or being contrarian. It's about aligning more closely with your authentic self. As you shed layers of pretense, you're stepping into a higher vibrational state, one characterized by truth and alignment. Authenticity involves being true to one's own personality, values, and spirit, regardless of external pressures. It's about expressing yourself openly and honestly, without succumbing to societal expectations or the desire for approval. Psychological research underscores the significance of authenticity, linking it to enhanced self-esteem, improved well-being, and more fulfilling relationships. In the realm of spirituality, authenticity is often regarded as a high-frequency state. When your external expressions mirror your internal truths, you resonate at a higher vibrational level, fostering a sense of harmony and peace. Living inauthentically can lead to internal conflict and stress. When actions and words are misaligned with true feelings and beliefs, it creates cognitive dissonance, a psychological state of discomfort. Over time, this dissonance can contribute to anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self-worth. Conversely, embracing authenticity can serve as a buffer against these negative psychological outcomes. By honoring your true self, you cultivate resilience and a more robust mental framework. As you become more attuned to your authentic self, certain changes become evident. Discomfort with superficial interactions. Engaging in conversations that lack depth or sincerity may feel increasingly taxing. Aversion to people-pleasing, the habit of saying yes to avoid conflict, starts to feel burdensome, leading to a desire to set clearer boundaries. Craving genuine connections. There's a heightened yearning for relationships and interactions that are rooted in mutual understanding and authenticity. Self-reflection. Regularly set aside time to introspect. Journaling can be a valuable tool to explore your feelings, values, and beliefs. Mindfulness practices. Engage in mindfulness or meditation to stay connected with your present emotions and thoughts, aiding in recognizing moments when you're not being true to yourself. Seek supportive communities. Surround yourself with individuals who value and encourage authenticity, creating a safe space for genuine expression. Set boundaries. Learn to say no when something doesn't align with your values or comfort, reinforcing your commitment to authenticity. Therapeutic engagement. Consider seeking therapy or counseling to delve deeper into patterns of inauthenticity and develop strategies to overcome them. Have you ever paused in the midst of a thought and realized it's one you've had countless times before? This awakening signifies a shift from operating on autopilot to becoming a conscious observer of your own mental processes. You begin to recognize recurring narratives, stories you've been telling yourself that may not even originate from your own experiences but have been adopted from external influences. This heightened awareness is the first step toward breaking free from limiting cycles. Our brains are wired to develop habitual thought patterns based on repeated experiences and reactions. This wiring is a result of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. While this adaptability allows for learning and growth, it also means that negative or limiting thought patterns can become deeply ingrained. However, by consciously recognizing these patterns, we can initiate the process of reprogramming our brains toward more positive and constructive pathways. Identify cognitive distortions. Learn to spot common cognitive distortions such as black and white thinking, catastrophizing, or overgeneralization. Recognizing these can help in challenging their validity. Challenge negative thoughts. When a negative thought arises, question its accuracy. Ask yourself for evidence supporting or refuting the thought. Replace with positive affirmations. Develop a set of positive affirmations that resonate with your true self and use them to counteract negative thoughts. Engage in new experiences. Expose yourself to new activities and challenges. This not only creates new neural pathways but also broadens your perspective. Practice gratitude. Regularly acknowledging and appreciating positive aspects of your life can shift focus from negative patterns to positive ones. Seek professional guidance. Therapists trained in cognitive behavioral techniques can provide tools and strategies tailored to your specific patterns. Mindfulness, the practice of being present and fully engaged in the current moment, can significantly aid in recognizing and altering thought patterns. By observing thoughts without judgment, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing for more intentional reactions. Incorporating mindfulness practices, such as meditation or deep breathing exercises, into your daily routine can enhance this self-awareness, making it easier to identify and modify unhelpful thought patterns. Transformation is rarely a linear journey. It encompasses a spectrum of emotions that may seem contradictory. You might find yourself engulfed in sadness while simultaneously feeling a deep sense of relief. This paradox is a natural response to letting go of familiar aspects of yourself, even those that may have been limiting or outdated. The grief stems from bidding farewell to these long-held identities, while the gratitude arises from the newfound freedom and possibilities that come with change. Grief is not solely associated with the loss of loved ones. It also manifests when we undergo significant internal changes. Letting go of former versions of ourselves can evoke a mourning process. This grief is a testament to the deep connection we have with our past experiences and identities. Acknowledging and honoring this grief is crucial, as it allows us to fully process our evolution and make space for new aspects of our being to emerge. Alongside grief, a profound sense of gratitude often emerges. This gratitude is not necessarily tied to external circumstances but is an intrinsic appreciation for the journey itself. It reflects an acknowledgement of the growth that has occurred and the opportunities that lie ahead. Embracing this gratitude can serve as a grounding force, helping to balance the sadness of letting go with the excitement of new beginnings. Mindful reflection. Set aside time to reflect on your journey. Journaling can be a powerful tool to articulate feelings of grief and gratitude, providing clarity and insight. Seek supportive communities. Engage with others who are experiencing similar transformations. Sharing experiences can offer validation and reduce feelings of isolation. Practice self-compassion. Recognize that experiencing a range of emotions is a natural part of growth. Be gentle with yourself and allow emotions to surface without judgment. Cultivate mindfulness and meditation. These practices can help you stay present, allowing you to observe your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Engage in creative expression. Activities such as art, music, or dance can provide an outlet for complex emotions, facilitating processing and integration. Research indicates that practicing gratitude can have positive effects on the brain, enhancing emotional regulation and promoting feelings of well-being. Engaging in gratitude practices can activate brain regions associated with dopamine production, contributing to a sense of reward and pleasure. This neurological response underscores the transformative potential of gratitude in navigating periods of change. As you move through this process, it's essential to recognize that the emergence of your new self is an ongoing journey. Allow yourself the grace to evolve without the pressure of reaching a definitive endpoint. Celebrate the small victories and remain open to continuous growth. In conclusion, experiencing simultaneous grief and gratitude is a natural and meaningful aspect of personal transformation. By acknowledging and embracing these emotions, you pave the way for a more authentic and fulfilling existence. Embarking on a journey of personal evolution often brings forth a complex tapestry of emotions and experiences. Feelings of being off, heightened emotional sensitivity, detachment from former habits, a pull towards solitude, and deep introspection are not indicators of malfunction or regression. Instead, they are profound signs of transformation. This metamorphosis, while enriching, can feel like an unraveling, a necessary shedding of outdated layers to make way for growth. The sensation of unraveling is a common yet often misunderstood aspect of personal growth. Brené Brown refers to this phase as the midlife unraveling, emphasizing that it is not a crisis but an opportunity for profound self-discovery and alignment with one's true self. This process involves dismantling the facades and roles we've adhered to, allowing our authentic selves to surface. While it may feel disorienting, this deconstruction is essential for meaningful transformation. Psychologically, this unraveling can be seen as an unfolding. Reframing the experience in this manner can alleviate feelings of being overwhelmed, presenting it instead as an opportunity to delve deeper into self-awareness and personal growth. By paying attention to our emotions, desires, and needs, we can navigate this phase with greater ease and understanding. As we evolve, our brains exhibit remarkable adaptability through neuroplasticity, the ability to form new neural connections in response to learning and experience. This means that as we consciously shift our behaviors and thought patterns, we are literally rewiring our brains to support new, healthier habits. Understanding this can empower us to embrace change, knowing that our brains are equipped to support our transformation. Mindful observation. Cultivate awareness of your thoughts and emotions without judgment. This practice allows you to witness your internal processes and identify areas ready for change. Embrace solitude. Use periods of solitude for introspection and self-discovery. Solitude provides the space to connect deeply with your inner self, facilitating clarity and insight. Seek supportive communities. Engage with others who are also on transformative journeys. Sharing experiences can offer validation, support, and diverse perspectives. Practice self-compassion. Recognize that transformation is a gradual process. Be patient and gentle with yourself, acknowledging that growth often involves discomfort. Set intentional goals. Define clear, achievable objectives that align with your evolving values and aspirations. This provides direction and a sense of purpose during times of change. As old layers fall away, your authentic self begins to surface. This authenticity is characterized by actions and decisions that resonate deeply with your true values and beliefs, leading to a more fulfilling and congruent life. Embracing this authenticity allows you to navigate the world with greater confidence and integrity. Internal shifts inevitably influence your external reality. As your frequency elevates, you may notice changes in your relationships, environment, and opportunities. This alignment between your inner transformation and outer experiences is a testament to the profound impact of personal evolution.